everybody, my Sam, and today we're gonna talk about which one is better, soap and water, or a hand sanitizer. Well, if you're thinking that, then let's go to the bathroom to see. So let's go to there. Let's go to the bathroom. I will get the items now. And now we got a hand sanitizer. Okay? And where's the soap? And where's the soap? Soap! Soap! Where is the soap? 10 minutes later. Maybe I have soap, but anyway, we can still have a hand sanitizer. Okay, so let's see which one is better, a hand sanitizer or soap and water. Okay, so let's see which one is better. Okay, we got the hand sanitizer and water. But we don't have soap. Okay, so let's just go out and get back to our studio. Okay, so if you're thinking of a coronavirus, then what's come first? Okay, so in the coronavirus, there are a special genetic head around them, and there is a small particle around them. Yeah, and this is called the limiters. And these limiters are often in two layers. And these two layers are often perfectly a perfect thing for survival. But how? How can they affect cells? Well, eventually, as you see, coronavirus had lipids. And these lipids on their heads were often attracted to water, but their tails at the back don't attract to water and just push themselves away. That's why if you put a coronavirus into water, it will stay completely as move around. That is the physical effect, which is why they can affect cells in the moisty environment around them. In just a single drop of soap, there is a small molecule called ionogas, which acts like the lipids. And since lipids are attracted to water, and these molecules have tails that were made out of water, when they meet each other, the heads of the lipids start to contrast with the tail of the molecules, which then cause them to squeeze around together. But even with just this small attack could even cause the coronavirus to explode and release everything inside and outside of themselves. Then the lipid and the molecule would eventually create bubbles which surround the proteins and DNA, which would then likely be washed by water. Okay, but what about a hand sanitizer? Well, a hand sanitizer is mostly have lots of special different types of molecules inside them. But these molecules are actually perfectly perfect. Because when these molecules are often get surrounded with water, then these could even cause an epidemic that they can even attack the lipids around them. So, have you ever imagined removing all the nails and mortar inside a house and then just shake and then use an earthquake just to destroy it? It may seem impossible, but it's actually real because when because when the molecules of the hand sanitizer eventually shakes up, it causes the proteins around the cell of the virus to start to collapse and eventually start to break out, which causes the proteins to stick out too. Even though it gets surrounded in water, which causes the lipids to get stronger and get hold together, and the proteins are even stick together, then how much it does, then it cannot keep out away from a super sanitizer. But in a corona 16, like a corona epidemic, doctors often say that we need to use soap. That we need to use soap instead of a hand sanitizer to eventually keep your hands always clean. And let's throw this. Sorry, it's still on my hand. But maybe you're thinking, if a hand sanitizer and a soap had the same kill just to take and kill out a coronavirus, then why do we have to throw this? Well, it's actually because soap can eventually actually remove, because with soap and water, it can eventually take away the dirt that could easily hide the coronavirus inside for more attacks. And even though a hand sanitizer, and also it takes a very few times for the coronavirus, and it also takes a few times for the coronavirus to die. But if you are using a hand sanitizer in this epidemic, it could be a mistake. Yes, that's because even though we can use it and it's like a perfect, in most communities, in some communities, the water there is often very dirty, and which could be a hard help and cause some death and cause more deaths, especially in the epidemic. And when scientists and locals were continuing to help, they found a special way. Because if you add a little salt, the dirty water, and then electrify it with a car engine, it could be, and eventually electric it with a car engine, it could actually turn the water back into a clean one, which is extremely perfect. So even though a hand sanitizer is also perfect, and then in the epidemic it could not. But maybe you're thinking, so if people invented, then why they invented so stupid? Why they don't think of the future? So is it the best way to throw this away? Well, it's not, because in most common colds, the colds are often caused by a super powerful virus, which is even powerful than the coronavirus, called the rhinovirus. If you're thinking of the word rhino, what did they call it with the word rhino? Does it as strong as rhino? Oh yes, it is, because a rhino was protected and casted a perfect and powerful part around itself that could even cause a few areas to break. And if that happens, then so would even have to take a longer time just to kill all the viruses. But if we use a hand sanitizer, then the special squash of it could easily take out. So in a coronavirus attack, we could just use this. But who is the powerful? So who is more powerful? Well, in every single epidemic, you need to know what kind of virus or bacteria it was before giving an idea to buy a hand sanitizer or soap and water because different types of bacteria and viruses often have different weakness, and the most weakness is often a hand sanitizer or soap, and it depends on what type of virus it was, what need to use, and what type, and how long to wash it. So this is the end of the video today. So goodbye everybody. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.